Hello and welcome to another episode of Earthworks Hub. I'm your host, Ivan Oliearthbullex, and I'm super excited. I've got somebody here as a guest. I'll introduce you to him in a minute, but I've got to do a quick shout out to a couple of guys where I'm working at the moment. I promised them I'll be doing this, so I've got to do the right thing. Quick shout out to Nathan, Dylan, and the team at Build Landscapes. A bunch of legends, really great to work with. So, I'll give you a quick rundown. The last few weeks, I didn't do something for about 2 weeks because we had the Melbourne Cup long weekend. We had I went away on in the caravan for a bit, and then didn't get much of a chance to do anything else. So I did some work on the new website, earthworkshub.com.au, which is going to be coming out in the next few weeks. So yeah, look, I'm going to introduce Ollie from Earthbull Excavations. It's funny. I'll give you a bit of a backstory on us. We actually just found out that we worked together maybe close to 3 years ago, just on a small job. And I've been posting on TikTok recently, and I've realised that there's a young guy on there who's got these awesome videos. And I remember telling my wife, I know this guy from somewhere. I know him, and he's like doing these awesome content. And I was saying, I really know him from somewhere. And then yeah, just by chance we happened to message each other on TikTok and then here we are. Now we're doing an interview. So yeah, welcome to the show, Ollie.
Thanks, mate. Good to be here.
Yeah, that's it. No, thanks for coming, man. I
No worries, anytime.
In a little short chat that we had before we started the episode, I can already see obviously you're like a young guy, driven, a little bit eccentric. You've got the long hair, the tats, and this and that. So you sort of fit in that category. But then you're very, very smart. I can hear from when you talk as well that you're very business savvy, switched on at the same time. But
Thanks,
look,
mate.
like I said, I found you on TikTok. You've got a massive following. You create some really awesome content. I can see you got some sponsors and that out of it too. Before we go into that sort of area, can we just talk about like your history? Like how'd you get into this field, man?
I started off probably when I was like 18. I mean, I'd always sort of, actually, going back to when I was born. So, funny
Mm.
story this. When I was born, the first word I could say was excavator, not that mum or dad. The first word I actually said was excavator.
Yeah.
And ever since then, my parents they were like, yeah, this kid's weird. But so it's always been a dream of mine to do what I do today. But I started off work when I was 15. I left school and I was a roof plumber, I didn't like it at all, but like it led me to so I did that for 2 years. Then I started working at a plumbing company that did drainage. And off straight off the bat, first day, hit the ground running. And I just love digging drains and laying drains. And then eventually I worked my way up. Got to jump in a few machines. And then one day I just sort of thought, fuck, I can go and do this for myself. So I just went on a hunch and just went and found a machine. I only had $500 to my name, so getting a finance was a bit hard, but managed to get one on a Yanmar 1.7 tonner, I think it was. Yeah, 2,500 hours on it, but they were pretty rough hours. Like she'd been around. Got that for about 17.5 grand, and then just started getting jobs, paying for it, doing landscaping. I started doing because I sort of worked out that right, just because you want to do earth moving, at the time there's a lot of blokes who are already set up, like they've already got an established business, they've got the equipment, they've got the infrastructure already set up, so they can do all the earth moving work was sort of they had it all. Like, they could get the jobs, they could do them efficiently, stuff like that. Whereas when I started off with a 1.7 tonner, if I just wanted to go into just earth moving, well, there probably wasn't going to be much work around, and you wouldn't be able to get it, sort of want to get a foot in the door. But so I did landscaping because it paid the bills, and it was good money, and there's a lot of work around. So it wasn't just machine work, but it had a bit of earth moving in it. And from there, I sort of branched into it slowly, working my way up to starting just to do earth moving and stuff like that. And then, yeah, now I just move earth. So, yeah, sort of working my way up and saving up sort of thing and just, yeah, getting there. Because, yeah, it's sort of hard to just jump straight into earth moving. I think a lot of people try and do that, but in this day and age with the other companies out there who are very established, sometimes you sort of got to try and walk before you run, or just find a niche to get into to get your way there, and then you can build up towards it. So yeah,
Hmm. Oh,
get
cool.
experience.
Cool, yeah. So you had the 1.7, and
Yeah.
then when I worked with you that time, you had a posi track. So, like, talk us through that.
So
So, what happened from there?
I bought the posi track for the contract to to do contract work. Um, and yeah, so pretty much yeah, got the posi, and that's when I met you.
Yeah,
And then paid that off over a year, and then we've got the 8 tonner now, and yeah, she's just keeps going. So
yeah, yeah,
pretty much, yeah.
yeah. No, that's good.
So,
That's
and
good. And as they're both cat machines, yeah.
yeah, they're both cat. So
Yeah.
yeah, I run cat machines. So yeah.
Is that like any reason? Like, do you prefer those, or is it?
Well, it's always been a childhood dream sort of thing. I think to have a cat. Like when you think about diggers, all the toys used to be little cat excavators. So yeah, nah, I do like cat. They're a good machine. Like, despite what people say about them, all machines have their positives and negatives. Like,
Yeah,
you know, they're all going to break at some stage. But no, they're good on fuel. Cat's field service is really good. They look after us really well. Um, and yeah, their customer service and after sale care is just phenomenal. Like, um, from the day that you get it, they don't change. Like, they still get it sorted for you and stuff like that. And they've got a lot of good sort of what's it called? Um, Things like the app, the Vision Link they've got, stuff like that. Like, they've got a lot of supporting services to the machines that are good. So
yeah. That's
yeah,
awesome. Yeah, that is good.
mm,
Yeah. I
yeah,
actually I've got the same thing, and on my cat posi, I remember getting
mm,
messages when it's overheating, or
yeah. Oh, it
you
tells
can
you everything.
it tells you everything. Yeah, so it's a
Fuel,
handy app. Yeah, fuel, everything, usage. Yeah, it's
fuel
pretty good.
usage, stuff
Yeah.
like that. They've also, I think their next gen machines are second to none. Like, they're freaking, they're the beat. They are really good. The electric over hydraulic controls in the cats.
Uh
I'm not
huh.
sure if you use your posi have that, the electric over hydraulics, or is it? It
That's a
might
good.
still be pilot.
It might still be pilot. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, it might be.
but yeah, they're in the excavators. They're really good. Like, they're just a generation ahead of most I've found. Like, even going forward, like, their machines, how they are now, the next gens, they're released to just simply plug a computer into, and they can configure the machine. Like, they can update a machine and give it sticks to you. Like, when that wasn't on the machine, like, it just from purely just a plug-in update or a software thing. And sometimes, like, and if it might need a little bit more, it's just a simple, electrical circuit. They just put something in there, and they
Yeah.
can keep them up to date. So
Yeah.
it's good. Like,
Yeah.
they're good like that.
Yeah. No, they're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of companies are going to have to follow them because it's just the way to go now. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you can't really, like, when you're getting a next gen excavator, and there's not much else that compares. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, once you've been in one, you sort of find it hard to just, yeah. A lot of companies are going to have to catch up to them. Like, they are ahead. Like, I know that Kubota just released their next gen machines, their Dash Sixes, or is it? Yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
Dash Sixes. So, yeah, they're good. They're all
Mhm.
catching up slowly, but yeah, I think it's just preference at the end of the day.
Yeah. True. What
Yeah.
about? So you mentioned you're doing landscaping and that. What are you sort of doing now? When I watch your TikToks, it looks like a lot of civil work or something. What are you doing
Also,
nowadays?
nowadays I just do subcontract to Winslow constructors, or Winslow, just everything. So we just do, yeah, civil, building estates and stuff like that, bit of infrastructure, a bit of everything, to be honest. Like, I don't really do the landscaping side of it anymore because I've sort of phased across. Like, now I just specialize in earthworks and stuff like that. So yeah, that's sort of where I want to
Yeah,
get to. That's why at the start, start off landscaping because of the work, and then you can build your way up, so to
yeah,
say, to get to, this stage now where it just sort of takes care of itself. Like, yeah, it's just sort of hard to just go straight into earth moving, I think, and uh, a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people try, and back then, like, I thought I could have, but I sort of had to accept reality, and it's like anything, you sort of got to get in, find something to, you know, support the business and help the business grow on the way to that goal, instead of just trying to get in there and bite off more than you can chew, and chewing like fuck doesn't always work out, so to say. Like, it works a
yeah,
lot, but like, yeah, I'm sort of eating my own words there. But
yeah.
still,
Yeah, no, it's true. I know
yeah.
because speaking of Winslow, they were one of the first companies that I contracted to, and I bought my first 20 tonner and went to work for them. And I remember getting moved from site to site because I wasn't quick enough to load, wasn't good enough with detail, and it was just yeah. I remember it was a hard start, very hard.
Well, at the start, when I started in my posi track, so first day, so we had to get this machine, bought it brand new from ProQuip because it cuts the wait for them's like 12 months, and we needed it then and there. So we were like, oh, we'll just go to ProQuip to get it. So I rocked up. We got it. We received it the day before I started work, so I didn't even take it off the truck because it was like 9 at night. I remember that night we had to. They waited back at ProQuip because they were getting the machine ready. They were waiting for the bucket or something, so they had careers driving everywhere trying to find a brand new bucket for it that fitted it. So then we were up there at 9. We got home, and the next day I was straight to site. So I got in. I couldn't even start it. Like, I mean, I've driven a posi before, but yeah, couldn't even start it, but got it started. That was fine. Got into it, and just yeah, ended up just going straight into a big bloody hole in the middle of the pad and getting bogged. So that was that for me. And
Yeah,
then I bumped into you.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's
yeah,
not
on my
easy.
way back. So it's
It's
not
not
easy, but
easy. Yeah, it's not
yeah,
easy,
nah.
man. Not easy. But look,
Once you
looks
get
like
in there,
you've come a long way now.
yeah.
Um, and what are your plans like? So for the future, where do you see yourself going from here?
Ah, good question. Sort of, I guess like I've sort of achieved the 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 goal that I had at the start, but like I don't know, with me, sort of once you achieve something, you've got to up the level a bit. So I think now it's just growing, buying more machines, keeping working, keep going how we're going, and yeah, just keep chipping away and just
Yeah, that's it.
let it do its thing.
Yeah, no, good,
Yeah,
good. It's good. You got to have a plan, I suppose. You got to have some dreams to look forward to,
yeah,
um, and then work towards them.
yeah. Which is, I think operators though sort of is the hardest thing for me. That's probably
Yeah,
the only tricky part now. So
it
yeah,
is.
it's just
And
finding the right ones.
it's not just you. It's everybody I speak to has the same issue across all industries. I was talking to an electrician the other day. He said the same thing. A plumber. I was talking to numerous people, and they all have the same issues. Just finding good operators is it's hard. It's hard because
Yeah,
and the other tough thing is that when you build a relationship with a customer, I find that they want you to be there, and then you've got to try and convince them to put someone else in there. And then if they don't perform, they're obviously going to pick on them for every little thing. But as soon as they don't perform, you're in strife. They're saying, "Oh, get
yeah,
this guy out of here." So there's no
yeah,
mercy, no mercy in our
yeah.
field.
Literally, that's which is like, I think it's like with me personally, I give people a chance. I try to when I can. Like, I like being able to teach someone is good. But I know what you're saying there. Like, it's hard to in this industry. Like, a lot of people want a chance, but it's as much as we'd both like to be able to just give everyone a chance and be able to give them that environment that they can learn in. When it comes to, well, yeah, it's a pretty fast paced sort of industry to just jump in. But you're always going to jump in the deep end if you're jumping in. Like, there's no easy way to go about
Yeah,
it because machines have to, they earn, they got to earn their keep. And at the end of the day, that sort of comes from the client or the person, you know, paying you for the machine and the service of it. They expect that it's, you know,
yeah,
got a good operator in it because that's what makes a machine at the end of the day. It's not necessarily the machine.
yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because I say to some guys when they used to work for me that it's not me, it's the customer. Like, I think you can do it right, but the
Yeah,
customer's telling me that they want someone a bit quicker or that can detail a bit better, and that, and I say, oh, I can't
yeah,
help it, and I start moving them from job to job, and then it gets hard. It can get hard.
yeah. Oh, 100%. I think at the end of the day, it's like obviously we were all there at one stage, but it's just like, yeah, you just got to sort of do what you can if you're trying to get into the industry. That is like what I tell most people. Even watching videos, like it sounds stupid, but when I was younger, I just used to spam YouTube and just watch Earth move. Even this is before I was like operating. Like I'd just watch, 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 watch,
Yeah,
and as soon as you get in a machine, you hit the ground running. Like you're not. I'm not saying you watch it and you're just going to get in it and know what to do, but like you can sort of you just naturally unconsciously like imitate what you watched, like or other
that's
operators, for
true.
example, like watching other people operate. Like a lot of people are like, no, you got to get time in the seat. Well, time in the seat's part of it, but if you've just got time in the seat, but you haven't been watching someone, or like you haven't seen, or someone's not teaching you, then you've got to sort of nut it out yourself. And I think that's where it is. Someone's either going to be able to do that, or they're not. Like finding what works for you, how you understand it in your own head, like how you picture it, like finding an understanding that is good for yourself. That goes a long way. But it sort of
Yeah,
just comes down at the end of the day to just how you perceive stuff.
yeah, it's true. I always found that guys that had been doing a bit of labouring on, like, for
Mm.
instance, on civil sites and
Yeah.
that, they seem to be a little bit better because they'd been on the ground watching
Oh
excavators, they've
yeah.
been there spotting for them, so they sort of know what's expected, so at least when they get in, they
Yeah.
know what they're doing and why they're doing it. So I
Oh,
always found that,
100%.
yeah, guys that were labouring, I usually find that they were a bit easier to sort of teach.
Yeah, and that's like with me with drainage, like from being in the trenches and stuff for yeah over 2 years or something, 2 3 years of just in the trench, just laying tube. Like yeah, you learn a lot. I think you actually learn just as much doing that
Yep.
than when you're actually in the machine.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Because
true.
yeah, it's just a little stuff that I
Yeah.
think it's hard to teach. So
Yeah.
yeah, nah.
Oh, there you
But
go. No, good. Let's go to the social stuff. Obviously, you've got a lot of followers, so you're doing something right. You've got sponsors and that. Like, can I ask, like, what got you into that? How'd you start doing the social media stuff?
um, I think it was probably about when I about would have been around the time that I met you, just after that. So like I never had TikTok originally. Like I'd actually yeah, even though everyone was talking about it, I actually didn't have it up until about 2 years ago. And then all of a sudden I got the app. I just used to think it was people doing like stupid dances and stuff. I was like, who the hell wants this? Like what the
Yeah.
hell? Anyway, so here's me to this house. I said I'd never ever like, oh, I'm not going to do that, but like, nah. So I started scrolling, and a video popped up. I think it was the Dirt Pirate, Bisho. I know,
Yeah.
yeah. Now
Yeah. I
we're
follow him.
mates, but
Yeah.
yeah. So one of his videos popped up on my feed, and I was like, I'll do that. Like, but I started watching it, and that were good, and I was like, oh, cool. And then more started popping up. And I was like, oh yeah, nah. So when I was at work one day, I just started putting a couple of videos up, and they started to go pretty well. And since then, like, because I've always sort of been creative, or I've always been into photography or like video editing and stuff like that. So yeah, nah, I just thought, well, give it a try, and then yeah, just took off from there. So it's
Yeah.
good though, because yeah, I enjoy doing that side of things. Like, apart from loving my job, like being able to show people and inspire people, I think it makes it a lot more worthwhile. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's time consuming. So I know doing it myself now as well. It's just very time consuming editing and this and that. Obviously, you get better as you go, but yeah, you must be enjoying it because it does take a lot of time.
Yeah, look, um, yeah, no, it does take a lot of time. I think balancing it is the harder part. Like, you've got to, it is pretty involved. Like at the start, if you want to grow your following and gain an audience, you've got to be consistent with your posts, and it's all about experimenting and, oh, is this going to work, or am I going to look like an idiot? You sort of got to
Yeah,
go past that. You've got to just have to accept that, okay, this might make me look stupid, whatever. Just wear it. And just
yeah,
experimenting, finding out what works, and yeah, stuff like that, and the editing side of it, as you said, the storing all the footage. Sometimes you'll have 6 hours worth of recording, and you've just realised that it's all in 1080p, not 4K. So that's
yeah,
a waste of time. Stuff like that, or just sorting through the footage, or just like, yeah, but like at work and stuff, it doesn't. When I'm at work, actually, I think a lot of people, a lot of them ask, "Oh, how do you have time to make videos?" Like, I'm just like, yeah, well, it doesn't actually affect. Like, I don't go out of my way at work to make a video. That's just videoing what I do. So it is
yeah,
easy in a way. It's a lot easier than a lot of other content creators. Like, they've got to actually fabricate their content, whereas it's just me at work working. So
yeah.
yeah, nah. So like, yeah, literally just to hit a button and the camera's recording. So that's the easy side of it. But then yeah, at night getting home and then having to sort through it all, edit it all, stuff like that. Um, yeah, it takes a bit of time,
Mm,
a lot of time.
yeah.
So
What about,
yeah, no.
is it paying off for you though? Like, do you actually think you win any work out of it, or is it more just for a bit of fun, or or is it just to like
So
see what happens with it?
um, I sort of do it just. I started doing it basically just because I enjoy it. As sort of like gives me something to do. And I think I'm not really looking to win work out of it because I don't need work. Um, I've that side of things that looks after itself nowadays. Like, I don't do it for advertising so much. It's more so it's just yeah, just showing people what I do, or just like, inspiring young people. That's more so what I want to do, like to show them that you can do this. It's you just do it, because I think a lot of people, I find they want to do it, but they don't know where to start, or they don't think that it's realistic. Like, they've got all these like this there's a lot of stuff going around where, oh yeah, you can't get a job doing that because you haven't got experience, or
Yeah,
the
yeah,
old boys want, they don't like the young guns coming in.
that's
So it
true.
makes it hard for people to get in there and or have the confidence, let alone the confidence to actually go, okay, instead of, because it is pretty daunting when you try and do something like this, because there's people around you that have done it for years, and you're coming into it as the greenhorn, so to say, like
Yep.
trying to do it. So, yeah, I think a lot of young people have got that image in their head that they can't, that it's just not, they won't be able to operate a machine, or, older guys are the only ones who are experienced or can operate machines. Like, I think that's how it's been for a long time.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah,
but,
yeah. Do you think there's an issue with like not having like an apprenticeship system or some sort of better training system for people? Because I feel like all we have
yeah,
is at the moment like a 2 3 day course, and they just sort of run you through the basics, and then they say,
well,
"Oh, off you go," and then you're sort of on your own.
yeah, and well, there is the 2 week one, which I encourage people, if they're, ask me for a job, what do I have to do? I say
Hmm.
do the nationally recognised one, I think it's called. I don't know, but it's a 2 week course, so
Yep.
you get time in the machines and stuff like that. But even then, it's not enough. Like, I think there needs to be, like you said, an apprenticeship, so to say. It's just hard to sort of picture how that. I think Winslow do it. Actually, Winslow, they're really good. I know that they've got something. I don't know what it's called. I can't remember, so don't quote me to it, guys. But
Yeah.
I know that they've got a really good program they sort of do, where their labourers work their way up, and they get them up to a stage. They do their tickets, do all the training on site, and work their way up gradually to getting the machine, which is really good. That actually is probably one thing that I haven't seen anywhere else. Like, and that's really good. When
Yeah. It's
it's a
good.
good
Yeah.
way about it. So that's sort of like the apprenticeship thing. I think it comes down to the employers. We have to sort of get to a stage where we can provide sort of services similar to that, because it's sort of a grey area
Yeah,
how you sort of go about it, because as you say, clients and stuff, we have to meet deadlines, and there's sort of stuff that we have to provide a service, so it's hard to just train people or
yeah,
go about it that way. A lot of people, when it comes to paying for a machine hourly rate or something, they're going to be like, righto, well, even though it's only an hour that they're in the machine, it's still an hour they've paid for. So it's hard to. That's the hardest part, is to justify it,
yeah. I even
sort of thing.
tried. I tried convincing some of the customers to let me, charge them a reduced rate while the new guy was in there, while he was training and stuff. But even then, they were just saying that's still time they're losing. You know what I mean? Even if it is a bit
Yeah,
cheaper, they're still going to be losing time. So they can't
yeah.
afford to do that.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, when they're paying for a premium rate, like, oh, not even not premium's the wrong word, but when they're paying a rate,
Yeah,
yeah, you want professional. You're paying for professional experience, which is probably the trickiest part in this industry, just to train people, because it's hard to. Whereas I do put time into people, like I have a property and stuff, and I like tell people, if you want to go out there and sit on a machine every weekend for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then you can come and work, or we can try you out on site. And obviously, I can be up there to train them. Just take time out of my own time to do that. I mean, at the start, when I started, I actually was getting my paycheck and hiring a machine from Kerr's Hire,
wow.
Canards.
Yeah,
Yeah, on a weekend, just to just fuck around in it, like just to, yeah.
yeah.
This is when I was 18, like, so yeah, most people get their paycheck and blow it on bags, but I was just getting an excavator, hiring one. So yeah, they were actually giving it to me for like the 1 day price for the whole weekend in the end, because I did it that many times. They were just like, oh, just yeah, just yeah, you can have it for the weekend, mate. Just pay for fucking 1 day. You'll be right.
in
So
in
yeah.
It's good because I did the same sort of thing. I used to go on weekends and just ask my cousins, can I just sit in your machine
Oh
and
yeah.
practice and that. And then when I bought my first machine, I had that sitting in the yard and just kept trialing, moving the same dirt pile left to the right, back to the left again, and
I
just
still
kept
do that
moving.
today.
Yeah, and then
I still do
it
that. Yeah.
just got better. You know?
Yeah, literally. I'll still do that to this day. Like,
Yeah,
on weekends and stuff. I don't know if I'm weird. I'll just go and move a pile of soil around the 50 acres that we have.
yeah,
So, like, but I even tell people, like what you were saying, to send. Um, a lot of people have asked me on messages, like Instagram and stuff. And if any of you people are watching and haven't replied, I have a lot of messages. Like, I get around to them eventually, but they ask how to go about it, how to get experience when I haven't got seat time. Well, like, an easy way to go about it, if you are really keen, like if you really set your mind and you are determined to do something, you'll find a way to do it. Like hiring a machine. That's maybe a bit
yep,
extreme, because not everyone's got land to be able to go and just rip dirt up. Like, you can't just get in the backyard and just destroy your parents' lawn. Like, but
mm,
go and ask people. Say, oh, have you got a Saturday or something? I'm keen as to learn, even if I come in and labour for a couple of hours for nothing, and then, or can I jump in the machine for a couple of hours for free? Like, you know, I'm happy to do that, or like, you're happy to help them out if they let you get a bit of, a couple of hours in here and there. Well, then sooner or later you're sort of in the environment, because a lot of people, like, who are doing their own work and stuff, they actually will let you. Like that, they'll be like, yeah, it's fine. They're obviously not going to pay you, but sometimes I tell a lot of people, just because you say free, who's to say that a lot of people will probably actually end up saying, oh, look, here's $50, like, because you're actually doing all right, like, or 20,
yeah,
but like, who cares? It's the experience that really, at the end of the day, that if you want to get into it, you sort of got to sacrifice. Like, you got to try
yeah.
do
And
something. Yeah.
you never know. Like that person might turn around and go, you know what? Do you want to come and work for me afterwards?
Oh,
Who knows? If they see you
exactly
keen.
right.
Yeah,
Exactly right. But even if they don't, like, you can at least, you can gain a lot of experience just that way. And yeah, like you said, like, people probably more than likely say, look, this bloke's keen. Because when you see someone keen and eager like that, well, then hell, I'd buy them a machine eventually. Like, like, that's the stuff that, okay, they're eager, they want to learn, that's a passion, like, or like they've got determination at least to, like,
yeah,
to do something. Whereas, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but at the end of the day, like it's a rewarding industry to be in, but it's not the easiest one just to get in. Like it's
Yeah, and you've got to
yeah,
love it. You've got to really like it.
yeah,
And then,
yeah,
and you know what I've realized is guys that just come to do it as a job, just think, oh, I just
yeah,
want to get the money and go home. And there's
yep,
guys that come in and they talk about the machines, and you see the difference.
yeah,
They'll be like, oh, you see this machine? Oh, I did this. Did you see that?
yeah,
You know, oh, this thing works really good. Or, you know, I don't know, they're proud of their work, or they're you know, like, happy to like talk about machinery and different brands and this, you know, you can see there's a different passion.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, no, 100%. And
Mm.
it's about the ones who go home research, or the ones who are just like, you know, just die hard, just earth moving, mate.
Yeah.
Like literally, it's
Like
sort of
us.
it's a disease that you can catch very easily. It's
Yeah,
it's like
it
a
is.
yeah, like me. I've always been obsessed with it, and it's just it's an obsession.
Yeah,
So yeah,
people say to me like, "Why do you love it so much?" And I always go, "Do you remember when you were a kid and you always wanted to
mm,
play with little cars and machines? And then when you're a kid, you see guys working in machines, you're like, oh wow!" And I'm like, "That's why I love it because that's
yeah,
why that's I get to do that. I get to play in these big toys and move dirt
yeah.
and do these manly things, man. You know, it's just
Yeah,
uh,
when
and
you
I'm
used
like,
to be at
what?
school and they come
Yeah,
in to do work or something, and I just sit there and watch them, and you're like, yeah, that's sick.
yeah, it's true. Yeah,
Literally.
it's so it is. It's like it just grabs a hold of you, and once you start, it's you can't go out of it. You know.
Yeah, oh, exactly right. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
when I was younger, operators used to be superheroes to me. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
literally. So,
It's funny when I'm working on sites, I see some of those mums walking their little kids, and the little kids always stop at the work site, and the mum has to stand there, and the kids are just watching, and their eyes are open. It's amazing. They
mm,
just stand there looking for ages sometimes. You know.
yeah, oh, yeah, no, like the other day when I was at work, because I have to track around the estate, and at 3:30 each time when I'm crossing over the bridge back to the other side of the waterway, there's like three kids and their grandparents there. They wait every day at about that time till the machine tracks past, and they're
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
waiting. So yeah, no, that was like me when I was younger. So yeah, no, it's one of those things that I think you sort of get at a young age, and it's something that you just just
Mm.
that child inside,
Yeah.
keep chasing it.
True.
So yeah,
Going
no,
back
it's
to
good.
we're talking about operators and stuff. Do you think now there's a lot of guys going to machine control, and you know they say that the digger does most of the work for you? Do you reckon that's going to affect things and make operators not as good, or do you reckon it doesn't really matter?
Oh well, this topic here,
Uh-oh.
it's a pretty red hot one, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, like a lot of people comment on my videos and saying this, for example, they'll be like, oh, huh, yeah, you've got GPS, doesn't count. Well, I don't, but just saying that in general, unless you've got a next gen, cat 3D machine, or your boss has gone and spent an absolutely ridiculous amount on machine control, your GPS is like there is no automation there most of the time. Like there is none. All you're using it as a reference. So a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, if I get in a machine with GPS, like starting, oh, I don't need to know how to dig." No, you do, because like if someone gets in a machine with GPS and they don't know how to operate, it still looks like a freaking brothel. Like it's just you can tell because
Yeah.
they've been looking at the screen. You need to know what you're doing. Whereas like I think if people get in machines, they learn in GPS machines. It's just you don't gain the skill of doing it by eye, which in itself is a skill. Because like if you're able to look at something, which takes time to, develop this skill, and you can look at something and do it by eye or get it close by eye, well, like, you're not going to get that with GPS because you're always used to having that guide there where you're not actually consciously taking in everything around you, whether you're using a certain, like a footpath or a driveway as your reference point, like you're sort of, looking around to find something that is you can line up, sort of give you a sort of bearing to do your levels and work with your eyes, like, or if you just sort of, yeah, because when you use GPS, you're relying on that system. You're looking at it, okay, is it at height? I'm not necessarily saying that it's going to make people bad, but I think that when they don't have that, if they have always used it from the start, they'll find themselves in a bit of a pickle, not really knowing what level is, like, how to pull
Yeah,
this consistent grade, so to say. But it's definitely something that's not going anywhere. Like, machine control's the future, and I'm all for it. Like, it makes life a lot easier.
yeah,
But like, in saying that, I think learning wise, I can't stress it enough, is just to get in a machine without GPS, and if you can, without a tiltage. Like, I learnt in a machine, no tiltage, no GPS, and that's why, to this day, it doesn't matter whether I've got the GPS or not, I can still get something within like pretty close, just off pegs or just off
yeah,
anything. Oh no, like I was just saying, like you'd know from yourself operating and stuff how you can, pulling leveling something, for example. We might not get it spot on, but you get it close. Like, whereas,
yeah,
yeah, because you learnt without that guidance there. Whereas, yeah, it's just natural. Like, it's just human nature. You will rely on something. If you learn that way, then without that, you will probably be back to square one, so to say. You might know how to drive the machine, but, doing a sight cut or something to level, or to trying to match a height, or spreading 50 mil of rock, for example, with GPS, 50 mil of rock, you can look at, okay, yep, spread it out. But doing it by eye, yeah,
yeah.
to get it
It's
right, it's, yeah, another ballpark, another game in itself.
Yeah, it sounds like a
Yeah,
reverse camera, like reverse cameras on cars. Everyone looks at them now and follows the blue lines.
yeah,
But
can't use them.
if you didn't have a camera, I reckon half of them couldn't probably reverse a car into a car park.
Oh yeah, nah, literally, yeah, that's it. Same within machines. If the reverse camera in the posi track's cooked, oh
Yeah,
mate, I've found myself in that situation a couple of times. But
yeah,
yeah, nah, it's like one of those things. You're better off to learn without, and then
yeah,
you've always got that skill,
yeah.
because it's a
What
skill in itself.
it is, it is, it is. What's like the biggest mistake you've made, or biggest like breakdown you've had, or something like that, like with your machines?
Yep, yeah. So Positrack's done both final drives, the whole lot, like the drives and the actual hydrostatic drive side,
Yeah,
and the pumps. So that was a lot. That was up there. That was like
yeah,
half the machine. That wasn't me operating it though.
yeah,
That was just operator error. And other than that, actually, I think I've gotten off all right. I've obviously had the stuff like, the DPF and the 8 tonner had to get replaced. That wasn't really an us issue, but other than that, I've been pretty lucky to look after our machines. And I'm pretty cluey like that. Like, I'll pick up on the slightest knock or whatever it is. Just I check on the machines. I can tell if something's not right with it, or if there's something we should just get checked out. Stuff like that. I've been pretty lucky. I haven't really had any big mistakes on site, to be honest. Like, we haven't crunched anything, we haven't crashed anything, we haven't busted anything, like stuff like that. We've been pretty good so far. So yeah,
okay,
even
yeah,
before, yeah, it's always pretty. I just stress safety a lot of the time, and you know, making, like I tell most operators, if you reverse, say you back a posi into something, and it's a site fence or something, yeah, it's not a big deal. But what if that was a person?
yeah.
Because, and they say, oh, but it's not. Oh, if it was a person, I would have saw him. Well, I'm like, well, you didn't see the fence, or you didn't see the freaking pole.
Could have been a
So stuff
person.
like that,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, like, and just being aware of your surroundings and not rushing. I think, like, stuff like that, and not operating like an idiot
yeah,
sort of saves your ass. So
yeah.
yeah, no, I haven't had too many mishaps.
What about in one of my previous episodes, I talked about theft and protecting your machines. Have you had anything like taken from your machines?
Um, nah, no, we haven't actually. The only thing that's happened to me is just a bunch of yeah, nah. A bunch of really good lads broke into my car, and when it was parked out the front of my partner's house,
Okay.
uh, in Werribee.
Say
That
no
was
more.
about it. Yeah, that was about it. I've been pretty good otherwise. Like, I mean, if there's the posi track, is the one that moves from site to site, obviously. But Winslow's pretty good with their security. Like, I give them that. They've got security there, and I usually park it in smart spots or stuff like that. But yeah, no, as far as that stuff goes, we've been pretty good. Also the cats, they've got like the most ridiculous, like, you couldn't,
And
I wouldn't
tracking.
steal one.
Yeah.
You just don't want to. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
they've got everything on them. Yeah, like they're and they're good like that. I think that's a good deterrent because you just hear around that a lot of people don't mess with them because they know. And Cat have got that really. They've got that down to the T, sort of thing. I mean, of course, there's ways of stealing stuff, but yeah, it's just about making it a bit harder, I guess, for them.
Yep.
So, I've been lucky in that way,
And what
which
about
is good.
like? Is there anything that you would change, like you did differently, if you could go back?
Oh, there's a lot of stuff. I think, I think the biggest thing at the start for anyone starting out, I'd say this to a lot of guys that are just trying to get out on their own or they're doing their own work, um, is to not get desperate for work. Like, as soon as you get desperate, you just, you're pricing, you're not taking value to your work. So at the start, like probably the first three jobs, that was me, like that I ever did. I was going in there just doing it for what I thought I'd be making profit on, but you're not. Like, make it worthwhile sort of thing. I think that's the only thing that I would, those three jobs at the start until I learned, I'd go back and change them for sure. But other than that, like off the top of my head, I can't really think of too much that I'd change, to be honest.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
And what about, like, we spoke about all the good things, I suppose. What is there anything that you don't enjoy about your job?
Um,
Is
oh,
there
that's a good
something?
one.
Yeah, is there something that
Uh,
you really hate or think should be different?
um, I got it pretty good. We got it pretty good. So,
Yeah,
or different. Probably the fuel price should come down. Um,
yeah, yeah,
stuff like that. I mean, look, at the end of the day, you're gonna have your good and bad days. Some days just all odds are against you, and those are the days that you just got to suck it up and get through it. But you have more good days than bad days. I think it's just about the workplace that you sort of build for yourself, and the environment that you sort of create that sort of has a big effect on it. And just have a positive mindset, keep going. I don't think there's much that I hate about what I do. I don't think there's anything, to be honest. Every day is a good day to get up, and you know, there's never really a dull moment, to be honest. We've got a good side that we work at. The group of fellas that work on the site, we all work as a team, and it's good. Yeah, there's not much I'd change. Like, there's yeah, that's about. Yeah, she's good.
no, it's good. It's good to hear because I know a lot of people are saying at the moment there's a bit of a lull with work, and they're saying that like since mid this year, a lot of guys have been struggling to find work, and we've got interest rate rises, and we've got builders going bust, and all this stuff happening, and they're saying it's taken an effect on our industry now. So it's good to hear some positive things because
Mm.
it can be, if you start listening to too many things, you can fall into this trap of thinking it's all bad.
I think,
So
yeah, exactly. But like when you're saying that stuff too, when there's a lull in work, I think it goes back to a saying about taking pride in your work and trying to, little things, just doing the little things that make you stand out. Because when times like this happen, it really separates. I'm not saying that the people who are struggling for work, it's not always the same situation, but a lot of the time, like you'll find that reliable contractors who do good work, they're punctual, they're reliable, stuff like that. You'll stand out from the rest. Like, and I think like yeah, there is a lull in work, but it's just it'll get better. It'll come back in about 6 months. Like I don't think it's going to be as bad as everyone thinks, to be honest.
yeah, I think you're
Yeah,
right. I think you're right what you're saying though. And if you develop a good relationship
yeah,
and they get to know you and like you say, you put in that little bit extra, it starts to count, especially at times
yeah.
like this. That's when it really
Put it,
counts.
yeah, put in that little bit extra. That's actually sounds when you say it, it sounds a lot easier than it is because a lot of people don't. A lot of people are just absolutely scrape every single, hour or second that they're there. Like, or they are just, as soon as it's 3:30, you piss off, or you don't see what else you can do. When there's nothing to do, you sit there, or like just little things that you can do, like just to, you know, just work as a team as well with the people that you're working with. Like, if you just like, reliable and do that little bit extra, when it comes to times like this, you'll find that, people look after you. Like, and that's all. That's how it works. Like, I scratch your back, you scratch mine, sort of thing. But in saying
Yeah.
that, like, it's also about providing a quality service at the end of the day, I think. Like, and with a lot of companies out there, you've got to make sure that you do everything. Well, I do anyway. I just, do my best, do as much as I can, help out whenever I can. Like, even if you're not getting paid for it, like, just do what, make someone else's life a bit easier. And in times like this, you'll, don't have to stress because
Yeah.
you get looked after. So,
No, I
you know,
agree. I
make you
agree.
stand out from the rest.
No, good, good.
Yeah.
No, it's been an awesome chat. I've actually really enjoyed this. Um, is there anything else that you want to add, or anything that I haven't covered that you sort of want to say, or you?
Um, no, I mean, you've got it all. Is there anything else? I don't mind. She ask away.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's it. No,
Literally.
look, I think I'm pretty much out of questions, but and look, I really appreciate you coming out and talking to me, and I really love watching your content. So keep going with that because I think it's obviously working for you. I might have to get a few pointers off you. And yeah, no, look, I think I wish you all the best. You sound like I said before, you sound like you're headstrong, you're business savvy. You sound like you really know you've got a plan of what you want to do. You've established those relationships, so you've got work all the time. So I mean, what more can you ask for? Listen, thank you, all the listeners. Where can they find you? Like, what's the best way to find you on socials or website?
On TikTok, so all my TikTok's Oliearthbullex. And yeah, that's my main one. And yeah, Instagram, same thing. Pretty much it's all Oliearthbullex. Oh yeah, actually, wait, one sec. Got to
Yeah,
do the
go ahead.
plug the sponsors here. So
Oh, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
yeah, big thanks to Diggerlid, Only Socks, FXD, and Too Savage. These bad boys right here. If you go on my TikTok, I've got a link tree where you can go and check out their stuff. And yeah, because they support the Janny on the Sticks, myself. So go and check them out and grab yourself some stuff and use my discount codes. Because yeah, so big thanks to them to supporting me. So cheers.
No, good work, mate. Good work. All right, thanks for listening, guys, and yeah, see you on the next one.